Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this small video course, we will be creating the Spring REST API using the Spring Data REST, and we will be connecting to the MySQL database, and we will perform the basic CRUD operations. The CRUD meaning create, read, update and delete. So Spring Data REST is a separate project from the Spring team. It will help us to create the REST API quickly and easily. We will talk more about Spring Data REST in a few minutes. Before that, I would like to show you where exactly the documentation lives in so that you can read more about the Spring Data REST by yourself. So let's head over to the browser and search for Spring Data REST and select the first link, which is from spring.io. So this is the official website for the Spring Data REST, and you can see under the Spring Data we have a separate project, Spring Data REST, and you can read more about this Spring Data REST, like what are the features and what are the benefits for using this Spring Data REST, and you can also download the samples from this sample section. Let's see where exactly the documentation lives in for this Spring Data REST documentation, and select the first link, which is from docs.spring.io. and this is an awesome documentation for the Spring Data REST. You can read more about the Spring Data REST. I will walk you through this documentation as we go further in this course. So now let's go ahead and create the Spring application inside our STS. You can also create the Spring application using the Spring Initializer. In case if you want to create the Spring application using the Spring Initializer, I'll drop a link in the description section of this video for the written article. You can refer that to create the Spring application. So I have already installed the Spring Toolsuite. In case if you have not installed the Spring Toolsuite, you can head over to the spring.io/tools. You can download the STS tool from the official website. And I have already installed the Lombok in this STS. Lombok is a Java library which will help us to reduce the boilerplate code. We don't need to override the setters and getters, toStrings and all those things. So if you want to install the, if you want to check whether you have installed the Lombok or not, you can go to the about Spring Toolsuite, and if you scroll down you can see the Lombok 1.18.16 which has been installed in this IDE. In case if you want to know how to install the Lombok in STS or Eclipse IDE, then I'll drop a link in the description section of this video. You can watch that video to install the Lombok on your IDE. Alright, let's go ahead and create the project. Select File, select New, and choose Spring Starter Project. So this will connect to the spring.io, start.spring.io. So make sure to enter the project name. I'm going to call this Spring Data REST, and the project type, it should be Maven. The Java version, I have installed the Java 8. I'm going to choose Java 8. In case if you have installed the higher version like 11 or 15, you can choose the respective Java version. Packaging, I'm gonna set this to jar. The language, which is Java, and the group ID in.Bhushan Sirgur. The artifact ID Spring Data REST, and the version v1. The description Spring Data REST demo. Package in.Bhushan Sirgur.Spring Data REST. Click next and make sure to select the Spring Boot version. The latest version at the time of this recording is 2.4.2, and make sure to choose the stable version, because don't try to choose the snapshot version or the M1 version, because those are not the stable versions. So the latest version at the time of this recording is 2.4.2. and I'm going to add the Spring Web, Spring DevTools, Lombok, and the Spring Data JPA and MySQL driver, because we will be connecting to the MySQL driver. And I'm going to add one more repository, which is the REST repositories, because we are using the Spring Data REST. And make sure to select the REST repositories and click next and click finish. So this is going to take a couple of minutes to download the dependencies depending upon your internet speed. Alright, it has been created and downloaded all the dependencies. So if you expand and if you go to the pound.xml, we have this red cross error. Okay, you can see that unknown error. So you can ignore this error because this is nothing to do with our project. This will not give you any error. Okay, you can just ignore this unknown error. So if you expand the source main Java, we have this main class, and if you expand the resources, we have the application.properties. All right, so now let's go ahead and create a few packages. So let's organize our project. So inside this, I'm going to create a new package. So the package name, which is entity, and repository. Click finish. All right, so now we have created two packages, which is entity and repository. We are not going to create any controller or the services. All right, so now let's open the application.properties. Let's add a few properties. So the first property which I'm going to add is for the driver class name, spring dot data source dot driver dot class name, and we will be using the MySQL database. So the driver name would be com dot mysql dot cj dot jdbc dot driver, and we have to specify the URL. So spring dot data source dot URL is equal to jdbc colon mysql colon / localhost colon 3306, which is the default port for the MySQL, and we have to add the database name, Spring Boot Apps. Of course, we haven't created the database yet. We will create it in just a bit. Spring dot data source dot username. I'm going to add the username, which is root. Spring dot data source dot password is equal to, the password is MySQL password is January@2021, and we have to add one more property, which is spring dot jpa dot show minus SQL. I'll set this to true, and we need to add one more property, which is the base path, spring dot data dot rest dot base path. I'm going to add the base path as /API/v1, and finally we will add spring dot jpa dot hibernate dot ddl minus auto. I will set this to update. So we are not going to create any tables inside the MySQL database. With this property, it will automatically create the database tables for us. I'm not sure about the password for my MySQL database. Let me actually verify that. Let me open the MySQL workbench, and first let's create the database. Create database Spring Boot Apps, and you can see one row affected. You can refresh this to see the changes. Okay, so now let's go to the administration and click on this users and privileges, and you can see we have this Spring Data REST. Okay, so I have created the user Spring Data REST, and the password which should also be a Spring Data REST. So let's change this to Spring Data REST, Spring Data REST, and the password Spring Data REST. I believe the username and password both are same. Let's see that. So let me save this. Okay, so now we have added the properties, we have configured the database. Now let's go to the entity class, entity package, and create a new entity. The entity name is employee. So at the top I'm going to add a few annotations. At entity, so we are telling that this is the JPA entity, so we are going to map this class with the database table, and we are going to add the setters at the rate getters and also at the rate toString. So let's import it from the java x.persistence.entity. Let's import it from the Lombok package. Okay, I think this is setter. Yes, this is setter, it's not setters. So let's save this, and now let's declare a fields. So private long id, private string name, private big decimal salary, private date created at, private date updated at. So let's import this date, which is from the util package, and this is big decimal. Okay, so I'm going to make this id as a primary key, so I'm going to add @id, and I'm going to add the generated value. Let me import this. Strategy generation type, I'll set this to identity. Okay, so now we have created an entity class, and with the 5 fields: id, name, salary, created at, and updated at. I'm going to add a few annotations to this created at and updated at. So I'm going to add the at column annotation. And I'll change the column name to created underscore at, and nullable I'll set nullable to false, updatable is equal to false. Okay, let me copy this and paste it, and I'm gonna change this to updated at. Let me get rid of this nullable and updatable, we don't need that. And I'm going to add 2 more annotations to this created at. For the created at, I'm going to add the at creation timestamp. For the updated at, I'm going to add update timestamp. Okay, so let's save this, and now let's go ahead and create the repository. I'm going to call this employee repository. Let's extend this with the JPA repository, and the entity name, which is employee, and the primary key type, which is long. And I'm going to add @repository annotation. Let's import all the classes. So let's save this, and now we have created the entity class and we have created the repository. That's it. Now the Spring Data REST automatically exposes the REST endpoints for us. So let's test our work. Yes, you believe that it automatically exposes the REST endpoints based on the entity name. I will explain how it is going to create in just a bit. First, let's open the Postman and let's test our work. So let's go to the main class and let's run our application. Start as Spring Boot application. Hopefully we don't get any errors. Okay, we are getting some exception, which is Hibernate dialect not set. Okay, so let's actually set the Hibernate dialect. I have not set the Hibernate dialect. So let's go to the application.properties and let's set the dialect spring.jpa.properties dot hibernate dot dialect is equal to org dot hibernate dot dialect dot MySQL 8 dialect. Okay, so with this, let's save this and let's run our application. Hopefully this time we don't get any errors. Still we are getting some exceptions, which is alright, access denied for the user Spring Data REST @%to database. Okay, so there is something wrong with my passwords, the username and password for the MySQL database. Let's actually open it, and I don't know what is the problem with this. Let's actually use the root itself. So let's go to the application.properties. Let's change this to root, and let me change this to capital D @VANGERE 2017. Okay, so now let's save this and let's restart our application. This time it should work. Alright, you can see it has created the table employee and it is working as expected, and it is running on the port 8080. Cool. Let's go to the MySQL database and let's go to the schemas and let's refresh this, and you can see the table employee which has been created. Okay, so now let's open the Postman and let's enter the URL localhost 8080. And if you remember, in our application properties we have added the base path, which is /API/v1, and we have to specify after the localhost 8080, which is /API/v1. Okay, so now what is the REST endpoints for that? So what the Spring Data REST will do is it will look into the entity name which is employee, and it is going to expose us the REST endpoint as employees. It will convert this singular entity name to a pluralized form, and it will convert the first character to lowercase. So let's open the Postman and v1 / it will pluralize employee, it will pluralize the entity name, so which is employees, and the first character, which will be employee, it will convert it into a lowercase /employees. So now we are making a GET request. So when you click on this send, we do get an empty array or the empty response. You can see employees, which is empty because there is no records in our database. So let's make a post request. So let's click on this post, and now let's go to the body and select the raw, and instead of text let's choose JSON. So let's add the record. So name, new employee, and salary 10,000. Okay, so now when I click on this send, we do get a response. You can see name, new employee, salary 10,000, created at and updated at, and it also automatically creates links with the help of HedgeOS. So it automatically provide the link for the getting a single employee. Okay, so let's go ahead and add one more record. So new employee 2, and the salary will be 5,000. When I click on this send, we do get a new record as a response. You can see the response code 201 created. Now let's change this to get and click on this send. We do get 2 records in this. Okay, let me expand this. You can see, so we are getting the 2 records, employee, new employee, and new employee 2. Alright, so but there is one problem with this approach. Since we are using the default behavior of the Spring Data REST is it will not expose the IDs in the JSON responses. If you look at this, in the employees array we are not getting the ID. Of course in the database it is storing, you can verify that. So let me go to the database and let me select the rows, and you can see we have an ID in the database, but it is not exposing in the REST responses. So this is the default behavior of the Spring Data REST. We can override that behavior to expose the IDs as well, and that's exactly what we are going to do in the next video, and we will learn how we can customize the REST Spring Data REST. So that is coming up in the next video as a part 2. I will see you in the next video.